You know, when you reach 73 years old, you start seeing things differently. The world slows down a bit, and suddenly, you have all this time, the very thing you spent your whole life saying you didn't have enough of. Funny how that works, isn't it? My name is Robert Mitchell. Most people called me Bob. For 45 years, I was Bob Mitchell, Senior Vice President of Operations. Now, I'm just Bob. And honestly, I wish I'd been just Bob a whole lot sooner. I grew up in a small town in Ohio. My father worked at the steel mill, came home every night with his hands black from grease, his back bent from the work. My mother, she took in sewing, worked her fingers raw, making alterations for the wealthy folks across town. I remember watching them, always tired, always struggling. And I made myself a promise. I told myself, I'm going to be different. I'm going to make something of myself. And I did. Oh boy, did I ever. I got a scholarship to college, first one in my family. Studied business, graduated top of my class, got hired by a Fortune 500 company right out of school. Started at the bottom, but I was hungry. I worked 70, 80 hours a week. Weekends? Those were just days without as many meetings. I climbed that ladder like my life depended on it. But here's what nobody tells you when you're 25 and invincible. Every rung of that ladder cost something. And I paid. Oh, I paid dearly. I met Sarah when I was 27, beautiful girl with these green eyes that just sparkled when she laughed. We got married within a year. She wanted a simple wedding, wanted to invite everyone from our families, make it a real celebration. But I was too busy. I had a big presentation the week after, so we had a quick ceremony at City Hall. Just us and two witnesses. Sarah never complained. Not really. She'd smile and say, "It's okay, honey. I understand. Your work is important." But I can still see her face every time I missed dinner, every school play, every anniversary. We had two kids, Michael and Jennifer, beautiful children. Michael was born on a Tuesday. I was in Dallas closing a deal, got the call from Sarah's sister that I had a son. I said, "That's wonderful. I'll be home Friday." Friday. Can you imagine? My son was born, and I saw him 3 days later because I didn't want to lose a commission. Jennifer came 2 years later. I was there for the birth that time. Had to cancel a conference in Singapore. I remember being in the hospital room, but in my head, I was thinking about the deals I was missing. Even then, even holding my newborn daughter, some part of me was still at work. The years they just went. Like sand through your fingers. Michael's first steps? Missed it. I was in a board meeting. Jennifer's first words? Sarah told me about it over the phone while I was at the airport. First days of school, baseball games, dance recitals, birthday parties. I have photos of all of them. You know why? Because Sarah took them. Sarah was always there. I was the ghost dad who showed up in a suit with an expensive present, thinking that's what being a father meant. My own parents, they got older. My dad retired from the mill with a pension that barely covered his medication. They lived 40 minutes away from us. 40 minutes. I'd visit maybe twice a year, Christmas and Thanksgiving, if I didn't have to travel for work. My mother used to call every Sunday. Every single Sunday at 6 p.m., the phone would ring. And you know what I did? Half the time, I'd let it go to voicemail. I'd be on my laptop reviewing reports, preparing for Monday, and I'd think, I'll call her back later. But later would turn into Tuesday, and Tuesday would become next weekend, and before I knew it, another Sunday would come. She died on a Wednesday. Heart attack. Sudden. She was 68 years old. I got the call from my father at 11 a.m. I was in a meeting about quarterly projections. I remember standing up, walking out of that conference room, and feeling like the world had just tilted on its axis. I drove to Ohio that day, and the whole 4 hours all I could think about was that voicemail, the one from the Sunday before. I never listened to it. I never called her back. Do you know what she said in that message? My father played it for me at the funeral. She said, "Hi, Bobby, it's Mom. Just calling to say hello. I made that apple pie you like, the one with the extra cinnamon. Was hoping maybe you could come by this weekend. But I know you're busy, sweetheart. That's okay. I love you. Call me when you can." I never called her back, and I never got that apple pie. My father lived another 8 years after that. 8 years of me promising I'd visit more, and him always saying, "Don't worry about it, son. I know you're busy with important things." Important things. What could possibly be more important than the man who raised me? He died alone in his sleep. The neighbor found him 2 days later. 2 days. My father was gone for 2 days before anyone even knew, because I was too busy to call, too busy to visit, too busy building a career that suddenly didn't mean a damn thing. And my kids, Michael and Jennifer, grew up. They grew up without me, really. Oh, I was there at the house. I paid for everything. Best schools, best clothes, best opportunities. I threw money at them like that would make up for throwing away time. Michael went to college, got married, had kids of his own. 2 beautiful grandchildren I barely knew because I was still working, still chasing that next promotion, that next achievement. Jennifer moved to California, became a teacher. We'd talk on the phone sometimes, but it was always surface level. "How's work?" "Fine, Dad." "How's everything else?" "Fine." We didn't know how to talk to each other because I never learned how to talk to her when it mattered. Sarah stayed with me through it all. 43 years of marriage to a man who was barely present. She built her own life, had her friends, her book club, her garden. We lived in the same house, slept in the same bed, but we were strangers who shared an address. Then came the diagnosis. Pancreatic cancer, stage 4. They gave her 6 months. She lasted 7. And suddenly, all that time I'd been saving for later, I had it. I took a leave of absence from work. I was finally there. Every doctor's appointment, every treatment, every difficult night, I was there. But you know what the cruelest thing was? She'd look at me sometimes with these sad eyes and say, "You don't have to be here, Bob. I know you have work." Even dying, she was giving me permission to leave. I held her hand for those 7 months. We talked more in that time than we had in the previous 10 years. She told me about her dreams, the things she'd wanted to do. She'd wanted to visit Italy, said she'd been saving pictures of the Amalfi Coast for 20 years. We had the money. We always had the money. But I never had the time. She wanted to learn to paint. She wanted to take ballroom dancing lessons. She wanted to volunteer at the animal shelter. She wanted to grow old with a husband who actually saw her. On her last day, she was barely conscious, but she squeezed my hand and whispered, "I wish we'd had more time." Not more money, not a bigger house, not a better car. More time. She died at 2:17 in the morning, and I sat there holding her hand as the sun came up, realizing that I'd just lost the only person who'd truly known me, and I'd barely known her at all. I went back to work after the funeral, threw myself into it even harder, if you can believe that. Because if I was busy, I didn't have to think, didn't have to feel, didn't have to face what I'd done. or rather, what I hadn't done. Then one day, about a year after Sarah passed, I was in my office. Corner office, big windows, view of the whole city. I was working on some merger proposal and the phone rang. It was Michael. "Dad," he said, "Emma has a dance recital next Saturday. She really wants you to come." Emma, my granddaughter. She was 7 years old. And I opened my mouth to say, "I'll try, but I have a..." And I just stopped because I heard Sarah's voice in my head. I heard my mother's voice. I heard my father's voice. I heard all those years of "I'm too busy" and "maybe next time" and "work is important." I said, "I'll be there." Michael was silent for a moment. Then he said, "Really?" And I realized that my own son was shocked that I'd show up for my granddaughter. I went to that recital. Emma was an angel in the fourth row, doing her best in a tutu that was a little too big. She saw me in the audience, and her whole face lit up. After the show, she ran to me and threw her arms around my waist and said, "You came, Grandpa. You really came." Like it was a miracle. I retired 2 months later, 68 years old, finally stepping away from the desk I'd been chained to for 45 years. You know what happened when I left? The company moved on. They hired someone else, someone younger, hungrier. The deals still got made. The meetings still happened. The world kept turning. Turns out I wasn't nearly as indispensable as I thought. But my family? They'd already moved on. They'd had to. You can't wait forever for someone who's never coming. I've spent these last 5 years trying to make up for lost time. I see my grandkids every week. I learned their favorite foods, their favorite games, what makes them laugh. Michael and I go fishing once a month, something I never did with him when he was a boy. Jennifer and I video chat every Sunday, same time my mother used to call me. We talk about everything and nothing, and I never, ever let it go to voicemail.
I have money, I have a nice house, a good pension, investments, savings. I can buy anything I want. But I can't buy back a single moment, not one. I can't buy another Sunday dinner with my mother. I can't buy another conversation with my father. I can't buy back Michael's childhood or Jennifer's teenage years. I can't buy back 43 years of really seeing Sarah, of dancing with her in the kitchen, of taking that trip to Italy. All that overtime, all those missed dinners, all those nights at the office. What did it get me? A title on a business card that nobody remembers. A salary that paid for a life I was too busy to live. Let me tell you something that took me 73 years to understand. Time is the only currency that matters. It's the only thing you can't earn back. You can't save it. You can't invest it. You can only spend it. And once it's gone forever. Your parents won't be here forever. Call them, visit them, listen to their stories, even if you heard them 100 times before. Hold their hands. Tell them you love them. Because one day, you'll wish you could hear those stories one more time. Your children, they're only young once. Those moments, the first steps, the first words, the scraped knees, the bedtime stories, they don't come back. That baseball game you missed for a meeting, your son will remember. That recital you skipped for a business trip, your daughter will notice. They'll say it's okay, just like Sarah did. But it's not okay. It's never okay. Your spouse, your partner, they're not just there to maintain the house while you maintain your career. They're the person you chose to build a life with. Build it. Actually build it. Don't just live parallel lives under the same roof. Work is important. I'm not saying it isn't. We need to provide for our families, to build security, to create opportunities. But work is a means to an end. It's not the end itself. Nobody on their deathbed ever says, I wish I'd spent more time at the office. Nobody ever says, I wish I'd answered one more email, taken one more business trip, closed one more deal. They say, I wish I'd spent more time with the people I love. They say, I wish I'd said, I love you more often. They say, I wish I'd been there. I'm 73 years old and I live with regret every single day. I see my mother's face when I close my eyes at night. I hear Sarah's voice wishing we'd had more time. I think about all those moments I traded away for meetings that didn't matter and achievements that faded as soon as I retired. But you still have time. You can still make different choices. You can still show up. You can still be there. Don't make my mistakes. Don't wait until the diagnosis, until the funeral, until the regret is so heavy you can barely breathe under the weight of it. Your email can wait. The meeting can be rescheduled. The promotion will still be there or it won't, and either way, you'll survive. But the moment your child reaches for your hand, that's gone in an instant. The Sunday phone call from your mother, one day it'll be the last one. The evening with your spouse, it's a chance to actually see them, to remember why you fell in love. I'd give everything I have, every penny, every achievement, every award, for one more Sunday dinner with my mother, for one more fishing trip with my father, for one more dance in the kitchen with Sarah, for one more chance to tuck Michael and Jennifer into bed and read them a story. But I can't. That currency is spent. Those accounts are closed, so I'm telling you this, not to make you feel guilty, but to wake you up while there's still time. While your parents are still answering the phone, while your kids still want you at their games, while your spouse still reaches for your hand, be there, show up, turn off the phone, close the laptop, say no to the things that don't really matter so you can say yes to the things that do. Because one day, and it'll come faster than you can possibly imagine, one day you'll be sitting in a chair like this one, looking back on your life, and you'll either smile at the memories you made or ache for the moments you missed. I spent my life chasing tomorrow. I was always working toward something, the next promotion, the next milestone, the next achievement. I kept telling myself that once I got there, once I reached that goal, then I'd have time, then I'd slow down, then I'd be present. But there kept moving. The goalposts kept shifting. And meanwhile, life was happening right in front of me, and I was too busy looking ahead to see it. Don't make that mistake. Don't trade your life for a career. Don't trade your family for a salary. Don't trade love for achievement. Because at the end of the day, when all is said and done, the only thing that matters is love. The love you gave, the love you received, the moments you shared, the lives you touched. Everything else, it's just noise. I'm Robert Mitchell. I wasted 45 years of my life chasing things that didn't matter. But I'm not wasting whatever time I have left. Every Sunday I call my kids. Every week I see my grandkids. Every day I try to be the person I should have been all along. It's too late for me to fix my mistakes, but it's not too late for you to avoid them. So please, please, go home today and hug the people you love. Tell them what they mean to you. Be present. Be there. Don't wait. Don't wait, because one day there won't be any more time to wait.